When you say at risk versus safe,
Mhm.
when I think of safe money, I think, well, you've got it in a mutual fund or you have it in something like that, and that's safe because it's spread out over hundreds or thousands of different companies.
Wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Okay.
Okay. And that is a big mistake that a lot of people make.
Welcome to Today's Retirees with certified financial planner Wayne Maslick of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Anchored in family values, Wayne offers practical advice to help you get the most out of your retirement years. For more information, visit TodaysRetirees092818. Now, here's your host.
Welcome to Today's Retirees with certified financial planner Wayne Maslick of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Today's program, we are going to be talking, as we normally do, Wayne, about financial matters, how that affects our families, how it affects maybe our businesses and so forth. You know, we have been, I just read the other day in, what do they call this, a bull market now for what, 400 months? I mean, it's been a
Yeah,
long time.
it's literally the longest bull market that we've ever had.
Is it really?
It's the record.
Wow.
And we're living in it, and we live through it. So it's going to get interesting.
And it's been, how many years has it been
Well, since 2009, beginning of 2009.
after that big crash?
Yeah, and it's long. It's fun.
Coming up on 10 years.
Yeah, 401ks love it. You know, people's retirement plans love it. We just got to keep it going.
I know I was reading someone the other day, the younger generation, you know, the 20, 30-year-olds, they have never seen a downturn.
Oh, they think it's normal.
They think this is normal.
And, people doing their own stock trading, and, they think they're heroes. Oh, this is easy. But, the bear market will come. We'll have a pullback or correction at some point. And you got to be ready for it.
Now, what is the average on those? I mean, every so often, something happens to make a correction, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, there's books been written every 7 years and
Okay.
every 8 years. But, yeah, pretty much, 87, we had Black Monday, and 94, early 2000s,
Okay.
2009. So it kind of goes in that pattern, but we're way past that.
Sure.
We're way past that average. So we'll see what happens.
So your prognosticator hat. I mean, and you read all of the research and things. Are the guys that are doing the research, the managers and things, are they predicting this is sustainable for the near future or the long term?
Well,
No one knows, I'm sure.
You hear both sides. You hear doom and gloom. At the last presidential election, right?
Sure.
And then the opposite happened, and you have people. Every day you see people. This ain't gonna last. But as far as the indicators that I follow, it doesn't appear we need to be worrying about any type of pullback, big pullback.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be caused by, say, recession, inflation type things.
Sure.
For a while. The indicators are indicating. One of the big indexes that refers to this is the LEI. It's called the Leading Economic Index, and that's been on an increase here. I think year over year we're up over 6%, and that's a good thing. When that's pulling back, that's a bad thing. That's when it's kind of precedes the recession, and we don't see any indication of that as of now.
Okay. Now, what about how does that affect? I see the mortgage rates and things like that are inching up again.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing, not only the LEI, that index I just mentioned, you look at what's called, and you probably heard it on the news lately, the inverted yield curve.
Okay.
And that's another sign that precedes a recession. And that is when short-term rates are higher than long-term rates. And the LEI index uses for short-term, their Fed funds rate.
Okay.
That's the one you read about all the time, versus the 10-year U.S. government bond. And right now, they're not inverted. The separation's, I think, about 93 or 95 basis points, 92 basis points. So it's still good.
Okay.
And even when these things do happen, when that curve does get inverted, typically, if a recession comes, it's not for, I think 7 to 24 months. So we have time, even when that does happen. So if that's happening now, then we may be worried about a recession not happening.
Okay.
So, And interest rates rising are good for savers.
Exactly.
You start earning some interest again.
Right, but if you're a borrower, it's the other way around. So
Yep.
those folks that are 50 plus, I mean, are we supposed to be, sitting stable? Are we supposed to be doing things? I mean, I know it.
Of course.
Your answer is it depends.
Yeah, well, no, or of course. I mean, it depends. The depends part is what are they, what's the objective? Where are they at in their life? Where are they at, in respect to their
Sure.
retirement? Are they 5 years away if they're 50? Are they 15 years away, if they're 50? How much do they have saved? How much is in the market? How much do they have in safe accounts? All that matters. And, that's what we're going to kind of address today is, to make sure if this pullback does happen, they have to have their ducks in a row.
Sure.
You don't want to get too greedy, too confident. And it's funny, a lot of people are. And I see this all, I've been doing this 25 years. And people, they just forget about the past and what happened. And they get not upset, but, why didn't I take more risk, right? Because the people that have been taking a lot of risk, they've been getting rewarded for the most part. They've made a lot of money. The market's been doing phenomenal.
Sure.
And the people that took all the risk, properly, not, picking a hot new stock IPO, not that type of risk, but just in general, people that have been more aggressive than they should have really got rewarded for it. They got a nice payday for being aggressive.
Sure.
But it could have went the other way and messed up everything for them.
Sure.
But it didn't.
Right.
The people that were safe, maybe too conservative, they missed out on that. So you have to find your balance.
But they slept well at night.
Well, they did, but now they're not because they're mad at themselves, right?
Sure. But that goes back to what you do, and that's why our audience needs to you need to know that you are doing the things that are right, that things are set up well, and if you don't know that or you have questions, you've dial that number that's on the screen, 866-626-3990. Go in and sit down with Wayne, have a conversation, and find out if what you're doing makes sense, or it doesn't hurt to get a second opinion, does it?
No, I mean, it's always good to get, second opinions on anything we do. And whether we're putting a new furnace or air conditioner in or buying a car, you got to keep things in check. If you're working with a current financial advisor, you got to keep them in check. Make sure they're not getting lazy, make sure they're doing the right things with your money. Some people aren't working with advisors. They're doing it on their own, and they think they're good at it now because of the last 9 years. But yeah, it's a good idea to reach out. I'm happy to help folks.
Sure, absolutely. Well, you dial that number, 866-626-3990, and call Wayne's office. If you call on the weekend, please leave a name and number, and one of the ladies will call you back and set up an appointment. We'll be back right after this.
Certified financial planner is a true professional, a well-rounded, holistic planner that helps you in all areas of your financial life. Estate planning, tax planning, financial planning, insurance planning. We have to sit for a 10-hour, 2-day exam, at least back when I took the test. It's not just a weekend designation where you go somewhere for a couple days, pay a couple $100, and now you have letters behind your name. One thing I think is important is that you try and find an independent certified financial planner. Somebody that doesn't work for a big firm. I myself own my company, Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. The buck stops with me, an independent, certified financial planner, one of the only ones on the north coast of Ohio.
Welcome back to Today's Retirees with certified financial planner Wayne Maslick of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. We were talking earlier about the great bull market that we've had for the last 9 years, I guess it is. Folks made out well even if they didn't take a lot of risks, they made out well because the market has just been extraordinary.
Yes, in general. If they had a nice diversified portfolio, there are stocks that have had pullbacks. I mean, you look at GE, that's been all over the place, as far as in the news. and many others. They say 20% of the stocks in an index, say like the S&P 500, 20% of those 500 companies are the ones driving the market. So they're not all making money. There are plenty of losers out there.
Right.
But if you were nicely diversified and you took risk, you generally got rewarded nicely.
Now, how do you figure that out? I mean, everybody has a tolerance of risk. So how does that individual family decide that, I want to be super aggressive, I want to be moderately aggressive? I mean, you help people do that.
Yeah, and you just said something interesting. You said individual family. So when there is a family, there's typically a husband and wife, and it's their money, right? And a lot of times they're on different pages.
Oh,
you may have the husband that wants
so
to.
you became a marriage counselor.
Oh yeah, seen some doozies in my office. It's this is their life savings, and generally the missus wants to be a little more conservative, or a lot more conservative, and the man wants to make the money. Wants to take the risk. Not always the case, but most times they can agree on a happy medium, I guess. And we've talked over the years about a safe risk ratio. I like to have my clients to have a family safe risk ratio. They know when they invest, a percentage of their assets are going to be in safe accounts, and then a percentage they're willing to gamble with. And then whatever percentage they're willing to gamble with in the markets, how aggressive do they want to be with that percentage? We carved out the safe stuff. Now with what we're going to invest in the market, what approach are we going to take? Are we going to be conservative? Are we going to be middle of the road or balanced? Or are we going to be aggressive and go for growth?
Okay.
And that's the key, to have the couple agree on a safe risk ratio, and then agree on how aggressive they want to be with that money.
Is that, you help folks do that, obviously.
Yes.
And try to figure out the best way.
Absolutely. And most people that are invested have no clue, why their money's where it's at.
Okay.
They have no clue. The broker said to do this. The broker, this, and in many cases, it's all at risk. Everything.
Now, when you say at risk versus safe, when I think of safe money, I think, well, you've got it in a mutual fund or you have it in something like that, and that's safe because it's spread out over hundreds or thousands of different companies.
Wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Okay.
And that is a big mistake that a lot of people make. They tell their broker they want it safe, and the broker says, hey, we got these nice mutual funds, well diversified, you're good. But no, that's not safe. That's risk. If you can get a negative on your statement, or parentheses, or red, it's a risk account. Okay, if you can lose money, it's risk. So safe is just that, safe. Never loses money.
Never lose. Could go up, but never go backwards.
Well,
hopefully it goes up.
Yeah, it should be going. You should be outpacing inflation with your safe money. You want to be earning, a decent rate of return. In today's environment, you're looking at 3 or 4%, 5% on your safe money. The kind of that never goes backwards. We're not talking 0.25% checking account or passbook savings.
Sure.
You want safe is safe though. Never ever loses. That's a key.
Sure.
Then what you take risk with. Now we get into the diversification and how aggressive do you want to be.
Okay. So when someone comes in and sits down with you, is there some rules of thumb that you try to help them understand?
Well, once we get to, I guess they're talking about their safe and risk monies, a good baseline, we've talked in the past about the rule of 100. For instance, if you have a 60-year-old, the rule of 100 says that 60% of your money should be in safe accounts. The type that are earning your 3-4% or whatever. And then the 40%, what's left from the 100, would be what they put in the markets at whatever degree of risk they decide to take. So that's a baseline. That's just if people have no clue, that's a good place to start. I have 60, 70, 80-year-olds that have 80% of their money in the market, right, at risk. They have a small portion safe, but they're okay with it because, they know that's them and they can deal with it.
Sure.
So it's key to dial into that. It's very key.
And having that discussion, I'm sure, with your spouse is a very important part of that.
Yeah, I mean, if you have too much at risk and you're approaching, your retirement years or even in retirement, and we're at 9 years into a bull market, and you have most of your money in risky stuff, you're gambling with your future.
Sure.
On the other hand, if you had 80% of your money in safe accounts over the last 9 years, you've missed on a lot of profit.
Sure.
Right? So you have to find the happy place where you're happy when the market's up, that at least this much of your money is participating in those gains, the nice ones. But when the market's down and going backwards, you're happy that this much is not going backwards.
Sure.
You have to find the balance.
Absolutely.
Those people that have been out of balance over the last 8-9 years, with too much risk, they love it, right? Because they just got rewarded for that, which is dangerous for the future.
So now they need to really, well, we don't know the future, but we need to know what's happening, and we need to try to figure out what's happening, which is why you need to go to that telephone, 866-626-3990. Call Wayne's office, set up an appointment, go in and sit down with him and talk about your financial future.
It's true. They can go to the TodaysRetirees.com, and of course on our website, just fill out a request if they don't want to pick up the phone, and shoot us an email and we'll reach out to them.
Absolutely. That is TodaysRetirees.com or 866-626-3990. We'll be back right after this.
Is inflation really that bad? People worry about it all the time. And the truth is, if you're a retiree and you have money saved in the safe type of accounts we always talk about, inflation can be a phenomenal thing for you, especially if you have no or little debt. So let's say you have a CD or annuity type investment. Those are some of the safe investments many people have. And let's say, for instance, you have $300,000 of your retirement and investment dollars in the safe type of accounts. Now, over the past handful of years, rates have been low. We all know that. Very disappointing. Typically, rates were running 2 to 3% in those safe accounts. So for every $300,000 you had invested, you were earning $6,000 to $9,000 per year in interest. Now let's say your budget, so living the way you live, your groceries, eating out, vacations, your day-to-day life, it takes about 50 grand for you to live on. And now let's say we have hyperinflation. Typical inflation's been 2.5%, maybe 3%. But now let's say it goes up 6, 7, 8%. People will be freaking out. It'll be all over the news. Recession, we're in one's coming, and we're going to have major inflation. It's going to cost you more to live your everyday life because it's going to cost you more money. That could be a bad thing, right? For some people, it can be. But for others, it's not that bad. So let's say, from whatever inflation has been, we have a 5 or 6% bump. Let's say 6%. So 6% of $50,000 is $3,000. It's going to cost you $3,000 more annually to live the way you live. That's a lot. But when we start having inflation like this, these low rates that we get in CDs and fixed annuities, the safe accounts that never lose money, they give you a promised, guaranteed rate of return. We have inflation of 5, 6, 7%. These rates are going up too. So let's say they don't go up 5, 6, or 7. Let's say they just go up 3%. So now we have a 2% rate plus the 3, those CDs will be paying 5, like they used to. The fixed annuities will be paying 6. You know, a dozen or so years ago, we had fixed annuity rates. These are guaranteed rates over 6%, 6.25%, 6.5%. You know, we actually had that not too long ago. So when we have this hyperinflation, it's going to cost us more to live on, but we're going to be earning more on our safe money in our CDs and fixed annuities. So we're earning a total of $15,000 on our typical 2% CD plus the additional 3. And then we're earning a total of $18,000 on a typical fixed annuity. Because fixed annuities that are issued by insurance companies typically pay a little more than CDs. Costs us 3 more. We're earning 9 more. That's an extra $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in our pocket.
And welcome back to Today's Retirees with Certified Financial Planner Wayne Maslick of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. You know, we have been in a bull market now for over 9 years, the greatest run in American history. And, you know, we've discussed a little bit on today's program about, you know, the pros and cons and, you know, where and what. But Wayne, you know, after you looked at all of this, you sat down, you sort of have a plan together. You know, we can't prognosticate the future per se. I mean, you know, we don't know if the stock market's going to fail tomorrow. No one necessarily saw the crash of '09 or '08 happening when and how it did with the banks. So, you know, if you're sitting here and you have, you know, nearing retirement or you are retired, where do you go? I mean, what should you be thinking about?
There's a lot of things. Depending on your age, you know, if you're in retirement, close to retirement, you know, we've talked about how I always have my clients fill out expense sheets. You know, I'm going to see where their money went over the past year, living the way they live. And then we compare that to what it will likely be in retirement. Right?
Sure.
And then we look at the income that they're going to need in retirement, or have, I should say, fixed income, Social Security, pensions, things like that. And then we see if there's a shortage. You know, if there's a shortage, do they have enough saved to cover the shortage, right?
Sure.
That's a key. If they already have enough, then do they have to take all the risk to get this higher return,
Okay.
right? If they don't have enough, how much do they have to start saving regularly, and how much do they have to earn in the realistic amount of time to this retirement to get there? And then we run the numbers. You know, if they need to average a 6% rate of return, and that's the way we lay out their money. If we're going to earn 4% on their safe money, but we need 6 overall, well, we need to take some risk with their risk money. You know, maybe average a 7 or 8% on that percentage of their money.
Okay.
So we use that. I mean, that's the mathematical approach. The other approach is their limitations. You know, the old Clint Eastwood term, a man's got to know his limitations. You got to know what you can take.
Right.
You know, if you breezed through the early 2000s and didn't lose a wink of sleep, or if you weren't worried in '08 and you just kept your money in the market and didn't give it a second thought, went golfing, fishing, went to work, then you have a high risk tolerance. Okay. But if you were worried, or worse yet, went to cash in '08, right?
Sure.
Which was a huge mistake for you if you did that. You know, that is a sign that you don't have a high risk tolerance. So you're going to have to settle for a lower rate of return over time because you can't take it. You can't take the bad news every day. You can't take seeing your accounts get, you know, cut by 30, 40%.
Sure.
Some people can because they know history. That's what happens.
Right.
But if you can't take that, then you have to have all your money arranged, safe and risk, so that won't happen. Even if we do have a big market pullback, you're not going to lose that much money.
Sure. So when you are planning this, and it's going to, as I'm understanding, let me just do it this way. Depending on how many years you have to go before retirement, or how much you, I hate to say this way, your life expectancy. If you're going to be retired for 25 years, those numbers are a lot different than if you figure 10 years.
Yeah, and both numbers are important.
Okay.
I mean, if you're 55 and you're going to retire at 65, well, we have 10 years to achieve your objective for your retirement lifestyle, the income need. But now we have to make it last.
Sure.
If you're going to live to age 80 or 90, that's 30 years later, 25 years later. So we have the 10 to save, and then we have to make it last another 20, 25 years.
Sure.
You don't want to run out. On the way in today to record this show, I heard that the lady that played Marianne on Gilligan's Island, Dawn, somebody, I forget, but just started a GoFundMe page because she's out of money.
Oh, wow.
She made enough money in her television series, Gilligan's Island, to last to her 70s. Well, she's still kicking.
Okay.
Her money's not.
Sure.
That's my job. I mean, that's my fear as a financial planner, and how I address every client to make sure that doesn't happen.
Sure. And that's what's important, folks. You need to sit down with Wayne. Go to his website, TodaysRetirees.com. On that website, you'll also see episodes of this show and previous programs that we have done discussing all kinds of topics having to do with your retirement, your money, what you can do, how you can do it. All of that is there. You can pick up the telephone, 866-626-3990. Set up an appointment, but don't wait. Go in and sit down with Wayne and let him help you put together a plan that makes sense, especially if you don't have a plan. And
Right.
most of us don't.
Most don't. Most just, they're investing and they're saving, but there's no plan behind it.
Sure.
You have to have a plan. The site's certified financial planner. That's one of their, which I am, a CFP professional. Their marketing, commercials, have a plan. They want you to have a plan, and you need a plan. Everyone has a plan. Every sport, every activity, you got a plan. You build some. People, for even vacation, you have a plan. A lot of people for their retirement don't have a plan.
Exactly. So friends, make that plan, take the time, make that call, go to that website, and set up a time to go see Wayne. We appreciate you being with us. We'll be back next time.
Thanks for tuning in to Today's Retirees with certified financial planner Wayne Maslick of Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management. Visit TodaysRetirees.com or call 866-626-3990 to schedule a no-cost appointment with Wayne. Today's Retirees is brought to you by Great Lakes Benefits and Wealth Management, family-focused retirement and tax planning services, anchored in family values. Information and opinions discussed on Today's Retirees do not necessarily reflect the opinions of this station. Opinions expressed should not be substituted for individualized consultation with a qualified financial advisor. For specific information, call 866-626-3990 or visit TodaysRetirees.com.